It's a grand old team to play for. It's a grand old team to see. And if you know your history, it's the team that the players do not want to play for. And it's the team that no Celtic supporter wants to see. And if you know your history, well, then you know that this is not good enough for Celtic Football Club. I'm your host, Terry. I'm accompanied by my co-pilot tonight, John. I've been completely ditched by Conor and Liam after my performance on Sunday. I need to issue an apology to loads of people because of Sunday. I apologise to the gaffer, Phil McGinley. I apologise to my two co-hosts, Liam and Conor. I apologise to all the regulars who joined the podcast. I apologise to the people who weren't regular but also joined. And I apologise to all the Hearts and Rangers fans and anyone else who found issue with me on Sunday. I'm not apologising for being drunk. I'm not apologising for talking over anybody. I'm not apologising for being rude. I'm apologising because I tried to stand in the corner of Wilfried Nancy and fight his fucking corner. Well, I ain't standing there no more. I am done. This guy needs to be gone from Celtic Football Club before midnight tonight, or the show is over. Thank you for joining me, John. This is going to be a rocky one. There's loads of pop-up podcasts all over the place. People you don't normally get after a post-match, they're all jumping on. They want the views. They want the Hearts fans. They want the Rangers fans. They want all the likes and all that other jazz. We're on here. Win, lose or draw, we are on. And I'll be talking shite after every single game. John, you don't do all that good stuff. I'll need to remember it. Give us a like, give us a share, hit the bell. I think there's a wee white thing comes up for subscription.
Yes, I'm here.
It doesn't cost you anything. Just do all that stuff that gets me out there and gets loads of people liking me and hating me and doing all that jazz. Just let's try and grow the wee podcast where we're very much a small guy or a small fish in a big pond, but we will get there one day. Jake or so, John, where do you start with this? I've done my intro. I've done my apology. I am, and this will get clipped up. This will get clipped up. I am on the verge of a fucking breakdown with this fish. How has this happened? We've absolutely fucked this season under Brendan Rodgers. We've then recovered it under Martin O'Neill. And now we've absolutely fucked it on an absolute punt for a manager that I have tried and I have stood there when reason has stared me in the eye and said, there is nothing to back this guy on. There was a high proportion of people, John. Right, okay. There was a portion of people didn't want this guy from the start because of his background. I don't know, 10%. That's unreasonable. There was maybe another 15, 20% jumped on after the Hearts game. I still felt that was unreasonable. There was maybe another 5% jumped on after the Roma game, which I still felt was unreasonable. And then there was maybe a real swell of people after the St Mirren game, which probably brought it up to about 75% of Celtic fans wanted this guy gone on Sunday. I stood there in his corner. I fought for him. I blamed the players. I gave this guy a stay of execution. I am fucking done. Tell me I'm wrong.
Right. Well, first of all, this is my debut on the bus home, and I was thinking it's a Wednesday night. How am I going
to?
I picked a fucking beauty, didn't I? But I thought I've not been on with Terry for a long time either. And I thought, now anybody who's a regular on the bus home will know that when I'm on the Friday night, I tend to have a glass of Stella in my hand, and I thought, no, I'm on with Terry tonight, so I think it'll have to be milk tonight. But you know what?
Stick it into your milk there. Pour your milk. Hold up your milk there, and I stick that into it.
After that tonight, I just thought, fuck it, let's get the Stella out, where am I with it? Right. I was one of the ones who was probably in your corner on Sunday. I didn't see the game on Sunday, full disclosure. I didn't see the game.
You didn't see the pod either.
Quite enjoyed the pod, to be honest with you, Terry. But one of the ones that was in your camp. I was kind of thinking, yeah, but I was on a very, very thin
He's on
thread.
there now, John. He's on there now. Fucking hell. How can you
Oh, is he?
stand
Oh, well,
you kid you?
I was on a
Guys-
very thin thread with him up until today, and I thought, come on here, that thread will probably snap by the time the game's finished. At half time, I'm thinking, well, actually, that thread's still kind of maybe intact because we've been doing all right. We'll talk more about the game later on. I'm quite sure we will, but I mean, honestly, if there was ever a game of two halves, that was it. And I just don't know what he said to the players at half time that brought us to that performance in the second half. I've given up watching a lot of his press conferences, and I've just been sort of reading bits that you read online and whatnot. But what really started to set alarm bells ringing with me with this guy was when he said it's not all about winning trophies. And I'm thinking, you have definitely wandered into the wrong place here, mate, because it is all about winning fucking trophies, Wilfried. And if you don't get that round your neck, then we'll put a noose round your neck and we'll kick you off the scaffold. And I think that I've got some sympathy for him tonight. When you should be at least 5-0 up at half time, and you've got you're what is our only striker at the minute, misses 4 good chances, a couple of them are sitters, and then you get Maeda with that header in the last 10 minutes, the last 5 minutes, whatever it was. You just think it's just not meant for the guy, and we should now cut our losses, but I'm telling you now, we won't. That board will not cut the losses. They will not admit the error of their ways after only 2 weeks and 4 games. But I'm now on the he has to go camp. I've got no confidence that we're going to have any success in the next 4 games, which is what we've got: Aberdeen, Motherwell, can't remember who else, and then Rangers. That's our next 4 games, I think. And we're going to be in, by the time we finish the game on is it the 2nd of January, we play Rangers?
Yeah, it's over that break, John. See, to be honest, I used to do the next 5 matches. See, now I'm just thinking the next 24 hours. If I can just fucking get through them, I'll be happy enough. DMAC 6568, was that your view at half time? No. I'll tell you what my view was. Because believe it or not, I usually don't make an awful lot of notes. I've got about fucking 6 pages here. My notes were that the first 20 minutes was decent. Second half, we were non-existent. And I also felt for 20 minutes against Hearts, we were decent. I also felt there was a 20-minute spell at the start of the second half against Roma, we were decent. And I thought there was a 20-minute spell against St Mirren that we were decent after we equalised. But the game does not last 20 minutes. The game lasts 90 fucking minutes. And where I'm at with this now is, I genuinely mean this, and he's still talking there, by the way. That's a good 5 minutes. I've absolutely no idea what he could possibly be saying. It doesn't take 5 minutes to say, I quit. And I'll still go back to what I said on Sunday. I can remember bits and pieces of what I said on Sunday. This isn't this guy's fault. This isn't Wilfried Nonsense's fault, because that's my new name for him, Wilfried Nonsense, because I listened to that press conference yesterday, and that I was wrong. See, on Sunday I said, I think he quoted me, because I think he must watch the bus. I think he quoted me. He said, I'm not asking them to. I made a comment, something like, he's not asking them to fly a spaceship to the moon, and he said something similar to that. I'm not telling them what I'm asking them to do isn't rocket science, something like that, he said. And I honestly felt, I said, no matter what this guy is asking these players to do, there's international footballers there, and they can't pass the ball 5 and 10 yards, and that ain't on him. And I do agree with that. I think the players cannot be absolved of fucking blame here. They've let this guy down big time, because I genuinely mean this, John, right? And this isn't me trying to say that I'm a football coach or anything. I do help out with a team of under 17s, but I I set out the cons. That is my job. I'm the Gavin Strachan.
Well, you're Gavin Strachan, yeah.
I set out the cons. I have very little input in the sessions, and I make a minimal contribution to the team. But see if I had managed Celtic for the last 4 games, I fucking guarantee you I wouldn't have lost all 4 of them. I guarantee you I wouldn't have lost all 4 of them. No chance. No chance. Whatever this guy has done, he has gone in there and he has sucked every ounce of belief out of this squad. And we can point to absolute clangers by Johnny Kenny, Dyson Maida, Shin Yamada, whatever the fuck he was doing. Jesus. Oh, the one where he tackles himself in the box and knocks it out. Right,
when I watched that bit live, I thought that must be a corner, surely.
He's still on now, Johnny. He's still on now. He's got his finger in his ear. He's scratching his eyeballs. Jesus, fuck. Just go. Please, just go, mate. Just go. Sorry, go ahead.
I'm saying when that one where he tackled himself in real time on the television camera, I thought that must be a corner, surely. The angle that ball went. And then when you seen it, you just thought, Jesus Christ almighty, what is he fucking playing at, you know? But I'm going to have something. I mean, like I say, he didn't miss those chances. The team were playing well enough to create those chances. They created more chances in that first 30 minutes or so tonight than I think they have done the previous 2 games at least. Yeah. And you can't. It's not down to tactics. They created those chances. It's not down to tactics that they missed them. Maida scored a wonderful finish, and but then Johnny Kenny, who looked good until he raised the sights at goal, and then it just, you know, the gun backfired on him, like, you know, and it was just awful. As I said, we should have been 4 or 5-0 up, but we weren't. But it's what happened in the second half that's the big problem.
And John, I know it's hard to explain, but see those missed chances, and he's still on, by the way. See those missed chances. It's hard to explain, right? But see if O'Neill was still there, those chances go in the net. And I know it's not him missing the chances, but it's him that whatever way this has happened, he has sucked the belief and confidence and life out of this squad of players. They can't be absolved. They cannot be absolved, right? They've let him down. They've let themselves down. They've let the football club down. But whatever impact he has made in his 2 weeks, and I totally get 2 weeks is absolutely nothing. He's still on. That's got to be 9 or 10 minutes. But whatever impact he has made, it has been a negative one. And I know some of the comments are saying, what did you think in the first 20 minutes and 30 minutes? But let's just step back and look at it. Look at it's Celtic Football Club against Dundee United, okay? Dundee United before tonight, 7 games without a win. 23 games without a win against Celtic. And 7.5 hours without scoring a goal. So, a Celtic team with absolutely no manager, no guidance, nothing, is still favourite to win that match. And if we dominate for 20 to 30 minutes and create a few chances, well, I'm sorry, guys, that's not enough to try and justify any manager staying in his role at Glasgow Celtic. He is the first manager in the history of the club to lose his first 2 competitive matches. He has now lost his first 4 competitive matches. I am not blaming this. I'm not blaming this guy. I just want him out. I'm not blaming him. I think he's been dealt a raw hand. I think the timing of this was completely all wrong. I've no problem with trying something different and something new. I embraced that, and I see if he turns around and makes a fucking go of it. Brilliant. Brilliant. But even if he does, for me, it's still too late. We've lost 4 matches and we've lost a trophy. So even if he goes on and wins the league and the cup, which I think is an absolute impossibility, by the way, we still lost a trophy that we should have won. And for me, it's unacceptable. I don't think it's all his fault. I think there's a good guy in there. I think there's a good coach in there. I think there's an honest, genuine human being who means well. However, he's been fucked in there into the absolute cesspit that is Celtic Football Club at absolutely the wrong time by absolutely the wrong people, and they will just let him hang because it's their mistake. And you know the people that we're talking about, we get rid of one today, there's another 4, 5 that need to go. I really want this guy to do well. I so want him to do well. I've bought into it. I really have. But I'm sorry, you cannot lose 4 matches in a row when you're the manager of Celtic against anybody. I just do not care. You can't.
Yeah. And the thing is, Terry, I was watching the first half and thinking, we're doing well here. We're doing all right. But if you look at Dundee United's the stats in the previous games, they're actually quite good at playing without the ball. I had a look at some of the stats. Today's game, for example, they had 26% possession to our 74, basically. Against Motherwell, they had 31% of possession. And they drew that game 0-0. Against St Mirren, they actually had, away from home, they had a lot of possession. They had 61% of the possession, and they drew 2 each, I think. And against Rangers, they had 32% of possession. They drew that game 2 each, and it was only a penalty kick 8 seconds from time that cost them it. On the flip side of that, I think it was, again, he got outschooled, or he got schooled by Jim Goodwin, because Goodwin obviously changed things for the second half. Said, we cannot just let them have the ball and sit back and be good without the ball. We're going to have to be good with the ball, and we're going to have to get in their faces and attack them. And that's what they've done. And Celtic, or Nancy, done nothing that was able to change the way that game was going. We scored. I mean, I wrote down in my notes, before they scored the equaliser, they've come out the traps like a greyhound at the traps, and a goal is coming. 3 minutes later, bang, they've equalised. 3 minutes after that, they're now in front. And now they start to sat back a little bit, and they control the game a little bit more, particularly for the last 10 or 15 minutes. If you looked at it when you seen the game as it was going on, when we had the ball coming forward, they were getting their men back and said the whole United team is in front of the ball, and we're trying to get through the whole team. So United were well drilled and well organised in that second half, and Nancy wasn't able to do anything to change it. Admittedly, because he's not got the tools to change it. But that's where we were. Have you frozen, Terry? No, thought you'd froze it for a minute.
No, I haven't frozen. I'm just sitting stunned, John. I'm absolutely stunned, and I'm reading some of the comments. And do you want to bring in Lennon or Brown? I actually was sitting. Somebody said to me today, "Would you take Lenny right now?" And then you're getting flashbacks to that COVID season, and I'm thinking, was it actually as bad as this during the COVID season? I don't know. I'm pretty sure Lenny didn't lose 4 in a row at any stage. I could be totally wrong. And no, I don't want Lenny back. I don't want Scott Brown. I just want somebody.
He didn't lose 4 in a row in COVID season, because today was the first season we've lost 4 games in a row since 1978, apparently.
I don't want Lenny, and I don't want Scott Brown. I just want somebody to come in and win fucking games for Celtic Football Club. That's all I want. Jesus. Oh, John, we need to try and bring a bit of structure to this, because it's meant to be a post-match. And there are a few comments there about how the game started well. And do you know what? It did start well. And we were very, very good for the first 20, 25 minutes kind of thing. Let's have a look at the lineup. This was just impossible to guess. You've no idea where he's going with it. Sorry, that's a bit smaller. Don't know if I can make it any bigger. No, I can't make it any bigger. But Schmeichel's still in goal, unfortunately. Trusty keeps his place. Anthony Ralston, he of the Gary Owen kick, is still in the team. Kieran Tierney plays at the left of a 3. Then you've got Yang back in after being dropped for a game on the right. You've got Callum McGregor and Bernardo in the middle. And then I genuinely don't know if it was McKeon or Maida on the left. I think it might have been McKeon, but I don't know, because for the first 5 minutes, Austin Trusty was in the fucking left wing and Hitaki was in the back 3. And then I just don't know. I don't know where they were playing. You've got McKeon, Kenny. They were just all over the fucking place. But The first half hour wasn't bad. But again, I go back to my point. Even without a manager, if Celtic had no manager and that was just the players organising that and doing the wee team talk and all, I would still expect them to play Dundee United off the park for the whole 90 minutes, not just for the first half hour. But we started well. There was a big miss from Yang, who was back in again on the right after Tannadice going off to the African nations. That's the first time I've seen Yang actually get into a scoring position since this new formation has been brought in. Thought that was positive. You've then got a cross from Maeda for Kenny, which he misses. 13 minutes in, we take the lead. The Sky puts the stats up. We've got 83% possession to 17, and we've got 5 shots against 0. And you're thinking, yeah, do you know what? This might be just starting to click a little tiny bit. Then we score. Dyson Maeda finds his scoring boots. Trusty plays the ball to Kenny. Kenny feeds Maeda. He's away and clear. And a good finish, John. And at that point, I am starting to settle down and thinking this might just start to turn for us.
Yeah, I was thinking much the same. It's like you said, I've got similar notes written down with you that I actually thought McCowan and Maeda formed quite a good partnership down that left in the first 25 minutes or so. You know, there was a few times McCowan was putting through Maeda, and when Maeda put the cross ball in that Yang couldn't quite get to. So I thought they're playing quite well together, and doing all right. And Johnny Kenny burst through, but his shot was saved, blocked by the keeper, went for a corner. Then we had a free kick, which was complete waste of time. Then Kenny, again, Johnny Kenny got through. He was looking dangerous from 25 yards into the penalty box. He was getting in the position. Then he was just fluffing his lines big time. He messed up another one, missed his chance. One thing that did start to annoy me is that and I read about it online about it after the same minute. Why is Casper Schmeichel being told to kick the ball out to the touchline so often so that we just lose possession? Because the ball's just going out for a goal kick. Because whoever he's trying to get it to isn't getting it, and it isn't controlling it. So we're giving up possession there. Then Kenny in the 34th minute missed that absolute sitter. Where again, I think it was McCowan that put down the ball down to Maeda, who put it across. And even when you know he's missed it and you're watching the action replay, you still expect the ball to go in the fucking net, even though you know he's missed it. It was that easy a chance to score. Oh, basically, I mean, I was going to say all he had to do was connect with the ball and he scores. Well, he did connect with the ball, but he obviously didn't score. But he had to connect with it properly. And we're 2-0 up, and the game is done, or as good as done, shall we say? But yeah, so that was basically my notes for the first half, because I thought after the 30 minutes, the game we came into a bit of a lull for us as far as we're concerned, and United had a bit more of the ball, and we didn't really create anything in those last 15 minutes or so of the last 10 minutes of the first half, which obviously only lasted 46 minutes because there was only a minute of injury time played, wasn't there?
Yeah, I'm just keeping an eye on the chat here, John. So I'll bring a few of these up that I've starred on the way in. Let's see. Let's get rid of some of those ones that I've brought up earlier. Let's see. Bring in who, Terry? Just not him. Just not him. And again, I'm not saying this guy isn't a good coach, isn't a good manager. He's just not going to work. This isn't going to work. And even if it does work, we've lost too many games already. We've lost a trophy that we should have won. And I don't completely blame him. I think he's maybe 25% of the blame. I think 50% is on the people that hired him at the time they hired him and the remit they gave him. And I think 25% is on him for not being astute enough to understand the position that he was in and to try and work out a way to get it through to the end of the season with success. And 25% I put on the players who it shouldn't fucking matter what the guy in charge is saying you should be good enough to go and win the games. That's my take on it. Right now, on Wednesday night, that was different on Sunday. It might be different come Sunday game, but that's where we're at right now. 50% is the fault of the people who employed him, 25 on him, and 25 on the players. Bring in who? I think it's an obvious one. You just go back and get the man that fucking turned the season around for us. I don't see that there's an awful lot of thinking that needs to be done there.
So the question with that one then, Terry, if that was to happen, are we going back for Martin O'Neill to the end of the season? Give him an 18-month contract? So there's some sort of plan in place for,
I just want him in for Sunday. All I know is I want him in for Sunday. I don't give a fuck. Just get him in and start to get points on the board again. I don't know if it's the end of the season. I don't know if it's 1 year, 2 years. I think it's actually a backward step. I think if he comes in again, it's a backward step. But right now, all I want is to win games for Celtic, and it seems crazy and it seems stupid. But put it like this: if Martin O'Neill comes in tomorrow, we win on Sunday. I would bet my life on that. But if we roll on to Sunday the way we are now, I find it very difficult to see us winning the game.
Yeah, I would agree with that to a point. I agree with it's going to be difficult to win the game on Sunday against Aberdeen on Sunday, isn't it?
Yeah, Aberdeen.
But I think what we've got to be careful of is we've got to be careful of the Martin O'Neill green tinted glasses, because I actually wasn't convinced Martin O'Neill wanted to stay on much longer, but as it turns out, he apparently did, and he would have stayed on longer if he was asked. But against St Mirren, we were absolutely dire and awful, and only scored because of a last kick of the game, worldly, from McGregor. I didn't see the game against Dundee because I was flying at the time, but apparently we were calling for the full-time whistle towards the end. Against Hibs, we were 2-0 up against Hibs, weren't we?
Yeah.
And it needed a decent save from Kasper Schmeichel in the last minute to keep it to 2-1. So I think we've got to be careful with the Martin O'Neill one and not get. Yeah, I know he won the games. I know he got the results, right, and there's no disputing that. But we have got to be careful that we don't run away with the idea that. To a lot of us, I mean, and don't get me wrong, I was delighted to get the chance to see Martin O'Neill taking a Celtic team again. And as we've all said before, the likes of my lad David, who was, he was possibly just about old enough to remember the Martin O'Neill era. He was just getting into Celtic kind of at that time in Seville and whatnot, but he probably didn't see too much of that era. And so it was good for them guys to be able to see it. But we've got to be careful we don't run with the idea that Martin was going to be the be-all and end-all answer. He came in, he steadied the ship, and unfortunately, the powers that be took the captaincy of that ship from Martin O'Neill, and it looks like they picked the wrong guy.
Yeah.
And if not the wrong guy, certainly the wrong time to make that kind of drastic change, because he needed a pre-season with the players and signing his, well, we'd like to say, I'd like to hope, sign his own players to suit his system. I'm not convinced that's going to happen anyway, regardless of who we have as a manager. So I think we need to be careful we don't run away with the Martin O'Neill would fix everything. And, if we get Martin O'Neill back, then the season's back on track and we're going to win things. At the minute, as things stand at the minute, Terry, we're now in a fight for second place. I think if Hearts have got anything about them at all and give that little extra push in January for more players, and they've signed some good players, a fraction of the money we spent, that put them in the position they're in, and we're obviously helping them with that position. So I think Hearts could, they are now, I don't think they're going to do an Aberdeen from last season and crumble. But I think
you make a good point about O'Neill, John, yeah. And when we were in the process of going for Nancy, I did say, if O'Neill stays, we win the league. But long term, it's not the right thing for Celtic for O'Neill to stay. It's a backward step. And I still believe that. But my position has changed because of the last 4 results. And right now, all I can think about is 3 points on Sunday. And I don't think this guy is going to get it. And if we bring Martin O'Neill in for one match, I'm happy enough if that gives us a better chance to get it. It is not the right thing long term. When Martin was in, a lot of the football was unconvincing. Some of his press conferences were unconvincing. But the key differences, and I know you point at last minute winners and you point at all them things, but the differences and the key differences, and they're small margins. When Martin was the manager, those things went in our favour. Since Wilfried Nonsense has come in, those things go against us. Dyson Maeda does not miss that open net if Martin O'Neill's the manager. I know that sounds crazy, but that's the way it is.
But then how do you explain Maeda scoring the goal that he did score tonight? I mean, what Maeda done tonight was what we've seen from Maeda for the last 3.5 seasons. You know, a complete arse of something 1 minute and score a worldie the next minute. The one we all point to, Hibs, where he missed a sitter against Hibs, not too dissimilar to the one he missed tonight. And then 2 minutes later, curled in a 20-yarder into the far corner. And then today, he'd done it the opposite way around. He scored that was a very good finish. So I'm going to have to disagree with you on that front, Terry. I don't think you can really say that if I'm being honest with you. Because
if Martin O'Neill's manager tonight, does Dyson Maeda miss that open goal?
Well,
I know it's crazy because it's the same chance. Everything's exactly the same, except
he does. He does, Terry. Yeah,
no,
he does.
He
does. And Johnny Kenny misses the ones he missed as well.
I don't think so, because Johnny Kenny, the only time Johnny Kenny has looked anywhere near a decent footballer was in that 5-6 weeks Martin O'Neill was there. That's the only time he looked decent.
Oh, he's jumping in.
He's coming in there. He's coming in to stick up for his dad here. I'm in trouble. I'm in squeaky bubble here.
Well,
this is the only way I can get a hold of my dad these days, apparently.
Right, John, let me just try and bring it round. So we took the lead, everything was plain sailing, we were looking decent. Johnny Kenny misses a sitter. There is an argument here. We could have been 2-3, 4-0 up at half time, and
not could have been, should have been.
Should have been, yeah. Should have been, but shoulda, woulda, coulda. And again, how many managers, how many stories have been built on shoulda, woulda, coulda? And it's very, very fine margins in this game, but results matter. If any of the guys in the chat heard the post-match,
I haven't seen it.
I was monitoring this.
No, I didn't put it on. I didn't want to listen to it. I didn't want to interrupt the pod. But if anybody has sort of heard what's going on, you want to give us a wee summary of what you said. Guardiola won't make Kenny or Shin not miss those chances, or Porras. Yeah, and that's all the points. Irishman Porto. That was all Irishman and Porto. Sorry, that was the points I was trying to make on Sunday. Wilfried Nancy coming in with his formation doesn't make Liam Scales not a 5-yard pass out of the park. All those things I was making, but see, I flipped. I just think Wilfried Nancy being there does make all those players do stupid things. Go on ahead, David.
Well, I was going to caveat on what you were saying about obviously with Kenny with Martin O'Neill. Let's not forget, we didn't see Kenny for about 4 or 5 of those games under Martin O'Neill after the cup semi-final. If I'm right,
probably his best game. His best game.
Yeah, and then I didn't see him again since. So what happened in between then? That makes you start to wonder. Did you start to lose faith in Kenny after a while? And I thought it was criminal tonight what Johnny Kenny managed to display as a striker tonight. I mean, obviously he did do some great work. He did all the hard work. He just couldn't finish his dinner. Like, I thought it was criminal when he was 1-on-1. He took that extra touch. It's like just open up your body and take the shot, and at least get the shot away. Work the goalkeeper, and then he gets that. It's a tap in. He has to do is open up his body and go with his right foot. I don't know why he went with his left. That's criminal. Absolutely criminal. I did say that if we lose tonight, it's on Kenny. As the game went on, I will pull back on that a little bit.
It's on a few more than him.
It's been a few months since then. Johnny Kenny didn't pick Anthony Ralston playing right-sided centre back. I don't know why he's even started tonight after the display in the cup final. I personally, if you're gonna play an out of form Anthony Ralston out of position, why are you not just giving the boy Pusey a chance at right centre back?
I really expected him to start tonight.
This guy's played first team football for Man City.
There has to be something wrong, David. There has to be something wrong. Rodgers didn't do it. O'Neill didn't do it.
It can't be any worse than Anthony Ralston. It has to be an attitude problem.
I know that. But Rodgers didn't play him. O'Neill didn't play him other than once, and this guy hasn't played him. There has to be something they're all seeing somewhere.
Well,
which means
clearly, but
like, fuck, if he's worse than Ralston, he's in trouble. He'd be better hanging the boots up right now tonight.
Can I just flip this a little bit? I think I'm about done with Engels. I've tried so hard to think this guy's a good player and this, that, and the next thing. But we've got manager after manager. We've got 3 managers. We had one bought him for 11 million quid. We had another one who continued to play him after when Martin came in. And now we've got Nancy playing him. And I'm really just not. He might be a good footballer, but he doesn't fit in our team. I just don't see what he gives us. And I think he takes a good corner and a good free kick. I think that's a fucking myth. No, it's either because he can't take a good corner, or when he does take a good corner, the people in the middle aren't able to take advantage of it. So we're talking about 3 managers not picking Simpson Pusey, who none of us can really give an opinion of because we've never seen him. And then we've got 3 managers who continue to play Engels, and I'm just not really seeing what Engels is bringing to the party. And I know he's not Matt O'Reilly. I know he wasn't bought in as a Matt O'Reilly type player, but a Matt O'Reilly player was what we needed and what we lost. And we never replaced him anywhere near like for like. Not a bit of it.
My concern, if we sat the manager tonight and we're talking about bringing Martin O'Neill back or whoever, my concern is what's the contingency plan for and what's the planning for the transfers? So then who's in control of bringing in the players?
David, I think we're in a crisis, and in a crisis you try to get through the next 24 hours, then the next 48 hours, then the next 72 hours. Celtic won't have this because we won't be prepared for crisis management, but every business should have a business continuity plan, and as of 11 o'clock tonight, the button should be pressed on a crisis situation, and that the plan should then kick in as to what happens now. Now, there won't be a plan because Celtic won't have it. Michael Nicholson won't have a fucking plan. His only plan is to get his packed lunch and fucking get into work the next day and get through the whole day without answering the phone. That's his plan. There will be no crisis plan in place, but that crisis plan should be activated tonight. And in the next 24 hours, there should be a plan to get through 24 hours, 48 hours, 72 hours, and then a week. I don't think we can be even thinking about January transfer window, because let's face it, if we do nothing, if we keep this manager in place, there is absolutely no way they're going to allow him to spend money. No chance. He won't get spending money. Tisdale won't get spending money. There will not be money spent in January. If we stick with what we've got, it'll be a couple of loan signings, and let's just see how the thing plays out. Even if somebody else comes in, then, as you say, the scenario will be, well, this guy's only short term. We can't spend money again. But this is a crisis. This is a crisis right now. This isn't a normal BAU day in, day out scenario. This is now a crisis, and you're working 24 hours at a time.
If the manager gets sacked tonight, then Tisdale has to walk as well, because
get rid of this fucking 2 of them. Absolutely, 100%.
And the board, all of them.
I'd rather go with no manager. I'd rather go with no manager on Sunday. Just let Calmac do the team talk. No manager would be better than a negative influence.
Would you bring in Sean Maloney instead?
Honestly, John, I'd bring in you if you're free and you've no flights. Honestly,
I'm going to Joe Berg, mate.
With 600 live here, I don't ever remember being on ever with 600 people watching me talk shit. I don't care who you support. Give us a wee like, give us a subscribe, give us a share, and them notifications and all that stuff. Help us out if we're entertaining your evening. Reciprocate and give us a wee plug out there and help us out. Right, trying to bring it back to the structure. Halftime. I'm genuinely feeling good at halftime. I'm thinking, yeah, me and Johnny Logan on. This will be a 20-minute, 25-minute. We'll get it done and dusted. I'll get up for work early and we'll be grand. Nah, no chance. We do the exact same thing we did on Sunday. We go in at halftime for a team talk that should be quite positive because we've done good stuff in the first half, and we do not come out of that changing room at all. Not at all. Nothing. We have a lucky escape after 5 minutes. We did nothing in the first 5 minutes. We didn't lay a glove on them. Then we conceded the equaliser on 58. Absolutely no surprise at all. We've done nothing in the first 13 minutes of that half. Schmeichel then makes another save a couple of minutes later. We could have been behind at that stage. And lo and behold, we can see the second goal in 3 minutes, as we do, because we're Celtic. Once the adversity hits, we've got absolutely zero resilience. This goal is an absolute sickener for me. David, you will be in the same camp as me here. We've talked about this. We've talked about it multiple times this season. And you and me have probably only been on 2 or 3 times this season. But in those times,
never on a win.
In those times, you know what's coming here. You know what's coming here. This fucking dickhead here clawing for a ball with his wrong arm that's going into the top left-hand corner, and he is clawing with his right arm. And we've had people on here saying, Terry, you know nothing about football. Goalies are trained to claw with their right arm for a ball that's going into their top fucking corner. Well, I'll tell you what, that's 3 times this fucking clown has done that this season, where he's clawed for a ball with his right hand when it's going into his left-hand top corner. And do you know what, coaches? Every single time it's ended up in our top corner. Help me out here someday. What's going on with him?
I would love to ask Stevie Woods if that's correct, because I can't.
You better ask him before the morrow because he's got his bag packed.
Yeah, but I can't. Well, you might have a better chance of getting him on the show. You ask him then, Terry. I can't figure that out. So the ball's going in the left-hand corner, and as a goalkeeper, I'm being taught or trained to do that, where I could do that and give myself another extra foot of reach. Or is it the same as the other corner? I go with my left hand. I just can't figure that out at all. And if that's how they're being coached, then.
David, if you were cutting hair and you were standing on the right-hand side of the person, would you reach right round with your bad hand and try and do the sideburns on the other side? No, you wouldn't. You'd fucking walk around and use your good hand. It
does seem strange. I think we're all agreeing here. Talking about that, I really thought Sinisalo would be playing tonight. I thought, we've got to give this guy a go. In fact, we have given him a go, and we've quite liked what we've seen of him. So why is he not getting a game?
There you go again.
Schmeichel doesn't look confident. Like, every time you've seen it, a close of his face, he didn't look confident at all. At all.
What was that, David?
He didn't look confident at all. Every time you've seen a good, when there was going to be a set up for a corner, you get a good look at his face, and he just looked a bag of nerves. He just looked. He's finished. He's stunned. He's overweight. He's past it. I don't
care what anybody says, David. He's still carrying that shoulder injury. That shoulder is not right.
Well, he can't lift it. By the looks of it. So
yeah.
I don't know what it takes for Sinisalo to get the opportunity. And I know it's that whole you drop the goalkeeper. That's you're basically just telling him you've lost all faith in him. But I think you need to pull him out of this situation right now. His distribution at goal kicks is putting players under pressure.
It's distribution.
At every set piece, he the whole even after the Scotland game, I mean, he was chipped by Kenny McLean at the halfway line against the nation that he plays his football in. Every opposition fans are giving him it tight. Anytime he's on the ball, I just think you need to take him out of the situation and you give Sinisalo a chance. Sinisalo's not done anything for me he's not done anything to suggest that he's not good enough to be given the opportunity. If I'm being honest,
Sinisalo should have been left in place by Brendan Rodgers. I'm not going to go and take blaming Brendan Rodgers here, but Sinisalo didn't do, and like you said, David, didn't do anything to lose his place. And what do they always say? The man in possession of the jersey is the man who keeps it, unless he gives you a reason not to keep it. And I don't think Sinisalo done that. And then when Schmeichel was fit-ish, he came back into the team.
it's the same situation we've seen. I think that it's a big talking point on Sky Sports as over the last few weeks over Nick Pope that at Newcastle. Like, it was getting to the point where he's a great goalkeeper. He's always been a really good goalkeeper, reliable for Newcastle, but he's in such a situation right now that it's like they've had to. You need to remove him out of that situation right now because it's doing him no any favours, and it was doing Newcastle any favours. And I think we're in the exact same situation with Schmeichel, who should have retired last year. He came in and he did a great job in his first season for us. Thank you for your service. You steadied the ship while we were finding the next number one goalkeeper between the transition of Joe Hart and whoever that may be, Sinisalo, which we were under the impression was he's the future goalkeeper at Celtic, and Kasper Schmeichel is going to be that transition period. And I think he's overstayed his welcome. It's that whole, die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain. And he's become the villain in this scenario right now, unfortunately. There's a lot of blame getting put on Schmeichel, and I think you need to remove that. It's just one more negative situation that we could do with removing at the minute.
I think there's a scenario here where we're bigging Sinisalo up without an awful lot of evidence that he is actually the answer. But I think that's more based on the fact that Schmeichel's not the answer.
I don't think we're big enough.
We haven't seen enough. We haven't seen enough of him. We haven't seen Sinisalo do anything brilliant. We've just not seen him balls up.
Not seen him do anything wrong either, though, Terry.
Yeah,
and I've seen a lot wrong.
We've not seen him balls up. Whereas we have seen
Terry, I don't need to see a goalkeeper do something brilliant. I just need to see him keep goal. I don't need to see a centre half do something brilliant. I just need to see him get to the fucking ball before the striker does and get it away. They don't have to be brilliant. They just have to not fuck up. And everybody's going to fuck up sooner or later, yeah?
I get that. And what I'm saying, John, is I think Schmeichel's fucked up enough that the other goalkeeper deserves a chance. But what I'm saying is we could bring Sinisalo in for Sunday and he could fuck up. We haven't seen enough of him to say that he's the answer, but we've seen enough of Schmeichel to say that he's not. I think we're agreeing. I think we're agreeing just in a roundabout sort of argument.
In a roundabout way, yeah.
Listen, we're still nearly 600 there. I'm sure a lot of you are on for laughs and giggles. More than happy to entertain you. Just give us a like and all that kind of stuff and help the wee podcast out if you want to keep getting giggles. Let's see where we're at. Comments pretty much up to date. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff there that doesn't really need to be said. How do I ban somebody? I'm not entertaining any of that usual banter that comes in from people who don't support Celtic, who just want to glorifying stuff that their own club has done as well. Yeah, I'm okay. I'm all over that. If I see it, I will ban it. Let's see. Where did we get to there? We're 2-1 down. Schmeichel's trying to claw one from the wrong side. Then,
just before we move on with that 2-1 down, I mean, that guy was well offside in the build-up to the corner that led to the goal, wasn't he?
Yeah. I've seen that in the chat, John. I've seen that in the chat. I didn't see it live, but it goes back to that same one against Hearts. And do you know what? It's small margins. Like, if Shankland puts the ball in the net against Hearts, they don't get the corner. They don't score. For all you know, Celtic go on and win that game. Nancy's off to a cracker. You get something against Roma. You win the cup final and you win the match tonight. Football it's such a fine line, John.
But having said that, to be fair, the guy took it well when he got the chance. It's a pity he didn't have Johnny Kenny's shooting boots on and he'd have missed it, but never mind.
But it's such fine lines, John. It's such fine lines. Your one decision by an official or your one decision by your player or anything like that, it's just minute details that separate success from failure. But that's why these guys get the big money, because you have to get more of those things going in your favour than not. And I genuinely think, I think this lad will be gone very soon. I genuinely think he will go on and have a good career in football. As I said, I think 25% of it's his fault. A lot of it lies with the guys above, and a portion of it lies with the players under him. I think back to Ronnie Deila, similar situation. And the point I was trying to make on Sunday is Wilfried Nancy doesn't need to be brilliant to win this league. He just needs to be competent. If he's competent, he'll win the league, because he does have the best squad of players. As much as they're not as good as Celtic players have been in the past, he has got the best squad of players. If he's just competent, he wins the league, similar to Ronnie Deila. But I remember when Ronnie Deila came in, and this has happened every time Celtic have tried to go a wee bit different, bring in somebody a wee bit different who could potentially bridge that gap between European also-rans and a team that's able to consistently punch above their weight. And that's what this guy has done. That's how he's ended up getting the Celtic job. He's punched above his weight in Canada. He's punched above his weight in America. And that was the basis that he was brought in. But what happened under Ronnie Deila seems to be what's happening under this guy. When somebody a wee bit different, a wee bit wacky comes in and tries to implement change, the core of UK players rebel against that. Now, I'm only making that as my assumption based on what I see and what I hear. The guys that have come out and spoke out in the press tend to be your McGregor, your McCowan, your Scales, who are UK and Ireland based players. That might just be because they're the guys that have been put up. They're the ones that we've heard. When you go back to Deila, when he banned the tomato sauce, fucking Griffiths was sitting with a sour puss on him because he loved tomato sauce. It was the local UK guys that didn't want to embrace the change that a foreign coach was coming in and trying to implement. And it just feels a wee bit the same. And it feels like, to give Celtic a bit of credit, when they bring in somebody new who might be progressive and might create change, might give us that thing that moves us from European also-rans to punching above our weight consistently. When they try to do that, it feels like the home core of players don't seem to want to embrace that change. I might be wrong on that. That's just my summarization from the last 2 weeks of watching all press conferences, watching all Lennox Town Unfiltered, watching all the press conferences, and trying to build a picture based on fact and not rumour. And I've made a wee list here, and I think probably it's time looking at this. Believe it or not, in my work, I sometimes get to make little decisions, not big, powerful decisions, but little decisions. And when I'm making decisions, I try to base it on fact, and I try to separate rumour from fact and concentrate on the facts. So we're 2 weeks in. I didn't want to make a call on him as soon as he was announced. I didn't want to make a call on him after one game against Hearts, or 2 games against Roma, or 3 games against St Mirren. But I've made a list of what's fact and what's rumour. And that has helped me, after 2 weeks, make my decision as to where I'm at. So the rumours are the players have gone over his head, and the senior players have gone to the board. I assume that means Nicholson. Now, if you're going to Nicholson and wanting something done, first of all, it'll probably take you 3 days to get him to reply to you.
I think we can safely assume they didn't phone him.
Rumour is they've gone over the manager's head to Nicholson. Rumour is that Nicholson has then tried to influence the structure of the team and the way the team plays. And if that's the case, that's fucking wrong as well. And the rumour is training is pish. So that's what I've got from the rumours. Then I move on to the facts. The facts are he doesn't know how to make a fucking sub, because in 2 different matches, he's gone to make a sub and he's absolutely fucked the sub up. He called Kieran Tierney over, give him this big chat, and then realised, oh fuck, we're bringing him off. And there was one before that. The first game, I think it was Negrin. So he doesn't know how to make a sub. Fact. Second fact, he talks absolute bollocks in press conferences. I put it on the players that he's not asking them to fly a spaceship to the moon. I watched his press conference. What day is today? Wednesday. I watched his press conference yesterday.
Right,
I haven't a fucking clue. I do not have a clue what he was on about. So if that's the way he is with the players, they do not have a clue, and I support that. The team is playing shite. That is a fact. He's calling Callum McGregor over every fucking 2 minutes, every fart's end, to give him a tactical update. What's changed from the last time you called him over? What's changed from halftime? What's changed from before the match? That's bollocks. There's no resilience. We've seen moments in all of these games. There have been positive moments, but the minute it goes against us, there is zero resilience. The heads go down. The game's fucked. There's no resilience. Fact. The players have absolutely no belief in what they're being asked to do. And that then transpires to them having absolutely no belief in what they're trying to do. And they're all facts. So if I'm making a decision in anything to do with my life, family, home, work, I lay out what's fact, what's rumor, and make the decision. And the facts completely outweigh the rumors, which would make me think the rumors probably are true.
Yes.
Mickey wants me mute. Mickey wants me mute. He thinks I'm waffling. Is any of what I've said waffle?
No, I get what you're getting at. There's
the thing is, Terry, rumors. You should just discount rumors because that's what they are. You base decisions on your fact, not. I've got 3 rumors and I've got 6 facts. All right, so
you counted them there.
I lost count.
Well, roughly, yeah. I know it's definitely 3. But I'm not quite sure how the 3 rumours outweigh the 6 facts or 7 facts, whatever it fucking was.
But I think the 6 facts make the 3 rumours more believable.
Well,
this is the way I see it. Right, as the players right now, they're not buying in. I think a lot of the players have written this season off already. I don't think they believe that they can go on and win this league. They were apparently distraught at Brendan Rodgers leaving. We get this club legend in who, yeah, he stable, he steadied the ship and he got the guys, but he simplified everything and he got the guys who are very limited playing reasonably well to get over the line, and that's what they were like. Martin O'Neill was a plaster over a massive axe wound, and now Nancy's come along and decided to rip that plaster right off, despite saying that he was going to sprinkle and his these nuances and all this stuff that he said. Now, I bought into the whole Nancy thing. I was very much like, right, cool, I'm in. Like, I'm willing to give this guy a go. I listened to a lot of the pundits that know of his work, and I was willing to give him a chance. Now, the players that he has at his disposal, they don't suit the system that this guy has apparently made very clear that this is the system he wants to play. He would have told the board that. Therefore, has he been told just get over the next few weeks and then you can dip into this transfer window and get the players that he needs? Has he now lost the opportunity to do that? That's my concern, because I'm very much like, well, I'm not convinced the board will sack him. They had Nicholson coming publicly back the guy today.
They won't sack
him. No, they're not. I'm saying that they publicly backed them today, knowing fine well the pressure's still on. You've got majority of the fan base didn't want him in the first place. This was an arranged marriage with the real bride and Martin O'Neill waiting in the wings, going like, what's happening here? He said that he would have stayed if they'd asked him. But they didn't ask him. They just wanted him to come in until they could get Nancy. They can get Nancy's buyout clause a little bit cheaper, because rumor or fact was 4 million was what the asking price was. Come December, he'll only be 2 million, and that's what we waited around for. So I've heard. So
Sorry,
if
what was
that's
that,
the
David? I
case,
missed that because I was reading some of the comments.
I had heard that Nancy was his contract buyout clause. If we had bought him in November, if we'd got him to come before the international break, we would have paid 4 million to get him to come. That dropped to 2 million once we reached December, and that's what apparently the hold up was. You can add that to your rumour list, Terry.
I was just about to say that, actually. Put that in the rumour
Would
list.
you put it past this board? Give me another reason why we didn't bring him in.
Not at all.
Give me another reason why we didn't bring him in before the international break, when Martin O'Neill was screaming to say, "Get me back to Talk Sport, bring in the new manager in the international break," and we chose not to do it. So, and now we're at the point now, that's 4 games in a row. Has he now lost this opportunity to bring in these so-called specific players that he needs for this specific system? And that's where I'm at right now, because I'm very much like, is he trusted? Are they going to trust him to be able to bring in these players that he wants? Because and because the players that he has right now, I'm convinced they're not, but they aren't buying into this whole system. They were banging it. They're running into each other tonight. It's chaos, absolute chaos. And I've tapped out now, though. I have tapped out. I've been trying really to be as positive as I can about the Nancy signing, and I've been willing to give him the benefit of the doubt and try and see these good things that he apparently can see at the sidelines. But it's becoming really difficult to defend it anymore. I tapped out. I've tapped out tonight because I don't know what he said at halftime that caused that absolute collapse. Because yes, criminal misses by Kenny in the first half. However, it took one little chat in that Dundee United dressing room to just tweak the tactics slightly, and within 15 minutes, they managed to turn it around. And this is the manager that says it's his job to solve problems. I don't see him solving problems out on that touchline at the minute. He looks lost. He looks like he's regretting a lot of decisions over the last 12 days.
David, I've got to say, I'm in agreement with you on that one. I bought into him. I thought some of the stuff I read and heard of him before he came to us, I liked some of his press conferences. There's one where he actually says to the guy, I can't remember what he was talking about, but he said, "Excuse my language, but this is fucking ridiculous." You know, and I'm thinking, well, I like this guy's fucking style and attitude.
Good accent.
But since he's come over to us, I just cannot. As soon as the interviews come on, I just zone out. I don't listen to his interviews. I read the sound bites, and when you read some of them, yeah, I know that's not right because you're not getting a full story. Like I say, you know, it's not about winning and what this is, it's about the performance. I think there's a bit more context to that. I can't think of any context when he says it's not about winning trophies. It fucking is. That's the whole object of the exercise, is to win trophies. We've got 3 that we should win on a regular basis. I'm not saying we should win a treble every year, but there's 3 trophies that we should be winning, and we should have won that one on Sunday. There's that one on Sunday when we lost against St Mirren on Sunday. That's as big a shock as the 1971 Partick Thistle beating a very good Celtic team, and that's the biggest League Cup final shock since then, in my opinion. I might be wrong, but in my opinion, it is. But I was the same as you, David. I was willing to give him a chance. I was praying he would do well tonight. I wasn't overly hopeful, to be honest, but at half time, I'm thinking, this is looking actually quite good. Maybe things are starting to take shape here. But it's like you just said there, David. I think I said it before you came on. Jim Goodwin's halftime talk was obviously a lot more inspiring and informative than Nancy's was at halftime, because United, they completely reverted from, we're just going to sit here and let you have the ball, contain you, blah, blah, blah. We're not doing a very good job of that. We're going to have to go on the offensive at you guys. And we could do nothing about it. There was nothing that Nancy done with halftime with second half substitutions that changed and stopped the flow of that game. It was still coming against.
Substitutions are confusing as well. The substitutions are confusing as well. I don't.
Yeah. So,
I don't
but there was nothing that he'd done that stemmed the flow of that until United decided, you know what, for the last 10 minutes, we're just going to hold out onto this. And I think United would have been happy not to get beat, absolutely delighted to win, because that's how it seemed to me. We did seem to have a little bit more effort about things in the last 5 minutes or so. Maybe even could have had we should have certainly equalised when Dyson, managed to almost break the crossbar from the centre of the goal 2 yards out and somehow contrived to hit the post. So I was, as I was saying, I'm in total agreement with you there, David. It was the second half that lost me. I just thought we should not have lost that game.
Should not have
even
lost
from
that game.
1-0 down, even from 1-0 up at half time, we still should not have lost that game.
I feel it's quite one-dimensional for a guy that sits with his tactics board out for the whole game as well. Like, this is one thing that Ange was a stick that Ange was beaten with a lot, was very one-dimensional. Plan A is not working, do Plan A better. And I don't even, I'm struggling to even see Plan A at the minute, Terry. And when that's, like I said, the first half looked great. We should have been 4-0 up. But then once Dundee United had got a grip of what they needed to do to change it, I didn't see anything from Nancy to suggest that he was figuring out how to combat that, and that's worrying. But then again, we've got as many people have pointed out, we've got a rookie manager. We do have a rookie manager. Someone doesn't seem to understand the magnitude of the job that he's in.
I think he's already cutting a broken figure. I want to get off and listen to what you had to say after. As much as I think it'll only make me more angry, I want to listen and see. The guys are kind of saying, he said, a win isn't far away. I mean, is he looking ahead to Auchinleck Talbot and thinking, right, as long as I get to that game, I might win one. Got a comment there that I starred earlier from Mr. Freeland 123. 3-4-3 is very effective formation used by many teams. I don't see that it's used by many teams, and I see some teams that it's used by where it's really effective, and we've seen a great example of that on Thursday night with Roma, because I think they had it perfected. I watched a game from the EPL on Monday night where this guy Amarim has been brought into Man United, and he's been there probably a good 18 months, and they're drawing a game 4-4 at home to Bournemouth, and there's no signs of Manchester United improving at all from the moment he has come in. I don't like this formation. I'm happy to embrace it if the right guy can get it going. I just don't like it. I think you need very, very specialist players. I think you're really reducing your target players to try and fit that system, because I don't think too many teams play it. I think the ones that do play it and do it really well, they come to prominence. But I mean, again, I've said, I think this could be so different if we had Johnson and Sriracha, because I think those two might actually be absolutely perfect for the two wide roles. I really, really do. But it's still it comes down to timing. Those two players aren't available to this manager when he's here, when we need results. And sometimes people's careers just flick on one moment, one miss for a striker, one mistake from a goalkeeper or a defender. And they're the fine margins, and that's why football is so cutthroat. That's why they get paid so much. That's why they get sacked quickly.
Well, a classic example of that is Henrik Larsson breaking his leg. Season went tits up after that, and John Barnes was gone.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's a classic example of, that. I don't know if it's a sliding doors moment, but that sort of kind of moment which just changed everything.
Yeah, I mean, towards the end of the game, we started throwing caution to the wind. We had the opportunity where Shin made a great block against himself. And then I made a note on 81 minutes where that was the first time I heard the Nancy get the fuck.
Yeah, I've got the same note.
That's not a great look. I get it. I totally get it. I'm sure he's feeling it. I genuinely think this guy will be feeling it. As if I might have said earlier, I've been in a position where I've been in a role that I probably shouldn't have been in, and it wasn't a nice position to be in. It wasn't a nice environment to turn up to every day. I'm pretty sure this guy's absolutely feeling it. He's now said in 2 separate press conferences that his family have reached out to him because they're concerned because he looks tired and he looks stressed. I have absolutely no doubt this guy is absolutely feeling it. And again, I really want him to do well. If by some magical way he can turn this around, then fucking happy days. I just think sometimes things, they spiral and you cannot turn it. You just cannot turn it. And we've seen it at Rangers. And I know you guys have made the comments, John, you did, about Hearts. See, if I had to plump for somebody right now to win the league, I'd probably be punting Rangers, because I think they've made the change. They've brought in somebody who's steady but not spectacular, and he'll grind out the results. They're in no way impressive, but right now, if I had to punt for one team to win this, I think I'd probably punt for them. That's just based on what I've seen in the last couple of weeks. And we're now in a scenario coming into the weekend where there's a Rangers Hearts match, and as a Celtic fan, I haven't a fucking clue what I want to happen in that match.
We're going to draw.
A draw, and yeah, a draw. A draw's probably the best result for us.
Yeah. Well, let's put it this way. Yeah, we need a draw. That game to be a draw. That's on Saturday, isn't it? Or is it Sunday?
Yeah. I'm
not sure which it is, but
either way, we want to draw in that one. If there has to be a winner, I want it to be Hearts, because I do not want Rangers anywhere near winning that league. So, but we want that to be a draw. But this is the ridiculous position and situation that Celtic have allowed themselves to get into, is that we're now looking at these type games and these results. And don't get me wrong, if we were 10 points clear, then we'd still be looking at that game and thinking, but we know who we'd want to win it. Without question, we'd want Hearts to win it. But now we're thinking, well, whichever one of them wins it damages us, especially if we make it 5 in a row. So that's my feeling on that. We need that one to be a draw, but we have to couple that with a win. Would you put money on that?
We shouldn't even be in this position where we're thinking about that game and trying to think what's
of course we
that game. Like fucking hell, like Aberdeen at home. Normally, it should be a run in the middle of the game, and now you're absolutely. I'm absolutely dreading it, to be honest. But listen, let's bring this to an end, because it's during the week. It's late. It's 11:30. I'm long past my bedtime. From what I've seen tonight, if things are going well, he might be able to get a tune out of us. But the minute something goes wrong, there's no resilience, no belief, no confidence, no wins, no points, no future. Gone is my overall take. I've been patient. I didn't think one game was fair. I didn't think 2 or 3 was fair. 4 probably isn't fair, but this ain't going anywhere. It's not going anywhere. And I think the right thing for Wilfried Nancy, the right thing for Celtic, the right thing for everyone is that this gets canned. Somebody faces up. That Nicholson will take the blame. He'll sack Tisdale. He'll be the scapegoat. Same way as Lowell going today was kind of a sacrificial lamb. I had planned to touch on that I'm wrecked. We've already done nearly an hour and 15. Lowell's gone. I'm sure some of the other guys will touch on that. Maybe film the Friday night show or something like that. I just don't have the energy to do it. I think Lowell's a clever guy. I don't think a few stickers and stuff going up is going to hurt somebody as thick-skinned as him. If there's been anything of any sort of violent nature or threatening nature other than singing at a match, then that's unacceptable, and I don't support that. There's nothing to say anything like that's happened. I think Lowell's clever. I think he's seen what's happened in the last couple of weeks. I think he can see into the future and see what the next month is going to look like, and he just wants to be off-ski. So that's as much as I want to touch on Lowell. I'm done, lads. I'm done in terms of this manager. I'm done in terms of this team, and I am done in terms of this podcast just for tonight. But I will be back on Sunday. As I said at the start, we do every game, win, lose, or draw. We're here. There's been a massive amount of people watching us tonight. Thank you very, very much. As I say, give us a like, give us a subscribe. If you don't support Celtic, but you enjoy watching us guys suffer, do the right thing and give us a wee thumb up and all that kind of stuff. Is there anything either of you want to add before we go?
Just to think it'll probably be the last time I'm going to be on the pod this year. So have as good a Christmas as you can under the circumstances, and I'll see you in the new year.
Yeah, happy days. Thank you, John. Dave, last word with you.
The ball is the ball.
I knew you were going to say that. I absolutely knew you were going to say that. The ball is the ball.
The ball is the ball. Catch us later.
Thank you, everyone. Ta.